Hello everyone. Welcome back to our channel, where we dive deep into the hidden dynamics of relationships and provide valuable insights to help you navigate emotional challenges. We are truly grateful for your time and support. If you find our discussions meaningful, don't forget to like and subscribe. Your encouragement enables us to reach more people who may need this guidance. Today's topic is both intriguing and eye-opening. What happens to the new supply when a narcissist tries to hoover you, but you firmly reject their advances? This question not only sheds light on the narcissist's behavior, but also unravels the impact of their manipulation on their new partner. We'll explore this layered issue with a closer look at the dynamics of narcissistic relationships, the manipulative cycle of hoovering, and the inevitable fallout when their tactics fail. Reclaiming your power by rejecting a narcissist's hoover is a transformative step in your journey. Yet while you find liberation, the new supply may unknowingly step deeper into the shadows of the narcissist's manipulation. In this video, we'll unravel how this decision shifts the narcissist's attention, distorts their already fragile bond with the new partner, and sets off a cycle of confusion and neglect. Let's begin by understanding the foundation of the narcissist's relationship with their new supply. By the end of this discussion, you'll not only gain clarity about the narcissist's tactics, but also recognize the importance of protecting your peace while understanding the broader emotional consequences for everyone involved. Stay tuned, and let's dive in. Understanding the relationship between a narcissist and their new supply requires diving into the intricate dynamics that often define these toxic connections. At the onset, the new supply typically becomes engulfed in what is known as love bombing. This stage feels intoxicating, filled with overwhelming affection, constant attention, and unrelenting admiration from the narcissist. To the new supply, it seems as though they've found the perfect partner, someone who idealizes them and makes them feel like the center of the universe. But beneath this illusion lies a darker reality. Narcissists are notoriously intolerant of monotony. Once the excitement of the love-bombing phase begins to wear off, they often enter what I refer to as their boredom cycle. This phase can be unsettling, as it propels the narcissist to seek new forms of stimulation. They start withdrawing their intense focus from the new supply, leaving them feeling neglected. In many cases, this disinterest drives the narcissist to revisit their past connections, often turning their attention back to you, the former partner, through what is commonly referred to as the Hoover maneuver. This attempt to pull you back into their web of manipulation is a hallmark of their cyclical behavior. The new supply's role in the narcissist's emotional game. When you resist their Hoover attempts, the ripple effects can significantly impact the new supply. Initially, the new supply continues to bask in the glow of love bombing. The narcissist invests a tremendous amount of energy to captivate and secure their attention. However, this intensity is unsustainable. As weeks or months pass, the euphoric charm begins to fade, and cracks start to show in the relationship. The narcissist, now restless and bored, withdraws emotionally, leaving the new supply confused and anxious. This emotional withdrawal marks a critical shift in the dynamics. The narcissist, frustrated by their inability to re-engage you, may project their dissatisfaction onto the new supply. Once idolized, they now face criticism, neglect, or outright disdain. The new supply, desperate to reclaim the initial affection they once received, often finds themselves walking on eggshells, vying for the narcissist's fleeting attention. This leaves them trapped in a cycle of insecurity and self-doubt, unsure of how to regain the favor they once enjoyed. The conflicting role of the past partner. Interestingly, when the narcissist becomes involved with the new supply, your significance often resurfaces in their mind. This seemingly paradoxical behavior may leave you bewildered, but it's a fundamental aspect of their psychological games. Regardless of whether they reach out to you directly or through intermediaries, the patterns within the narcissist's relationship remain strikingly consistent. It is during these moments of attempted hoovering that two distinct scenarios often emerge. In one, the narcissist's frustration with your resistance amplifies their dissatisfaction with the new supply accelerating the deterioration of that relationship. In the other, the narcissist tries to juggle both connections, creating a toxic triangulation where both you and the new supply are manipulated to fulfill their insatiable need for validation and control. Breaking free from the cycle. Understanding these dynamics is crucial for reclaiming your sense of self and breaking free from the narcissist's cycle of manipulation. Recognize that their patterns are not a reflection of your worth, but a manifestation of their unending search for external validation. The new supply, while appearing to have taken your place, is simply the next player in a repetitive and destructive game. By rejecting their Hoover and setting firm boundaries, you remove yourself from the chaos, allowing space for genuine healing and growth. In the end, the power to disrupt this cycle lies in your ability to see through the illusion and prioritize your emotional well-being. While the narcissist's patterns remain consistent, your response can change everything, not just for you, but also for those unknowingly caught in their web. When you, the person who once held their attention, reject their attempts to hoover you, it triggers a response in the narcissist. They may feel compelled to return to you, attempting to regain their previous control and admiration. However, when you reject them again, their frustration escalates. They will then return to the new supply and direct all their pent-up anger and dissatisfaction toward them. This cycle is deeply unhealthy and troubling. Many people who have been involved in relationships with narcissists can recall times of confusion and frustration, often wondering why the narcissist acted in such irrational ways. You might remember fights that seemed to arise out of nowhere over issues that appeared trivial or nonsensical. This behavior is a direct result of the narcissist's inability to process rejection and their lack of conflict resolution skills. To effectively manage conflicts and understand emotions, one must possess empathy, the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. Unfortunately, narcissists lack emotional empathy. They do not have the capacity for authentic empathy, which means they cannot truly grasp the reasons behind rejection or the feelings of those around them. Instead, their response is to lash out, often starting arguments with the new supply and engaging in disrespectful behavior. In some cases, they may even ghost the new supply, disappearing without explanation and leaving them feeling confused and abandoned. This behavior is not only hurtful, but also demonstrates the narcissist's inability to engage in healthy, constructive relationships. Imagine this scenario: the narcissist reaches out to you directly. They use a familiar phone number, send an unmistakable email, or even craft a carefully worded text message. The identity of the sender is immediately clear: it's them. In that moment, you face a pivotal choice. Will you engage, or will you stand firm in your boundaries? Many people choose the latter, opting to sever the connection entirely. They may respond with a resolute statement, such as "do not contact me again," or simply block the narcissist across all communication channels. But the implications of rejecting a narcissist run deeper than you might expect. Their capacity to handle rejection is astonishingly fragile. It is their emotional kryptonite, a wound they cannot endure. When faced with rejection, a storm brews within them. They experience a flood of negative emotions: shame, anger, and an overwhelming need to displace this turmoil onto someone else. Here lies the tragedy: the narcissist doesn't process these emotions internally or with reflection. Instead, they seek an outlet, and their new supply often becomes the unintended casualty of this emotional chaos. The very person they once adored, idolized, and placed on a pedestal now bears the brunt of their frustration and unresolved pain. This is where the cracks in their facade become most evident. The devaluation stage begins quietly but escalates rapidly. For the narcissist, boredom and conflict are intolerable states. If they've already encountered disagreements with the new supply, or if the supply no longer fulfills their endless need for admiration, they will quickly begin to view this person as an adversary. The shift is sharp and irreversible. What was once idealization morphs into disdain, and the new supply is left navigating a whirlwind of criticism, manipulation, and emotional neglect. So why does this cycle repeat itself? The narcissist's inability to tolerate rejection is a central force driving their behavior. When you refuse their attempts to re-establish contact, you disrupt their narrative, challenge their control, and expose their vulnerability. To regain a sense of power, they redirect their emotional volatility onto the nearest available target. Tragically, the new supply, who may have once felt like the center of their world, now becomes a scapegoat for their inner turmoil. It's important to understand that this pattern isn't just a reflection of the narcissist's fragile ego, it's a calculated method of survival for them. By devaluing others, they shield themselves from confronting their own inadequacies. However, for those entangled in their web, this shift is profoundly damaging. Once the narcissist begins to paint someone black, as it's often described, their perception is permanently altered. They no longer see the person with admiration or affection. Instead, they regard them with contempt and hostility. When you decide to stand firm and reject a narcissist's attempt to re-enter your life, you reclaim your power. Yet it is equally vital to understand the ripple effects of that decision. The narcissist's inability to manage rejection means their destructive patterns will continue elsewhere, often harming those who remain within their orbit. Recognizing these dynamics is crucial, not just for your own healing, but also for understanding the far-reaching consequences of their behavior. In rejecting them, you set yourself free, but the journey for those left behind is just beginning. The cycle of idealization, devaluation, and eventual discard is relentless, and without intervention, it will repeat. For those who choose to break away, the road to recovery is steep but transformative. It starts with awareness, is fueled by self-compassion, and culminates in the ultimate act of self-love, refusing to let the narcissist dictate your worth. The narcissist's proxy game: understanding and overcoming hoovering tactics. Imagine this scenario: the narcissist is no longer able to reach you directly, so they resort to an indirect and insidious tactic: hoovering by proxy. This method involves enlisting someone else to act as their intermediary. The proxy, often a family member, mutual friend, or what is commonly referred to as a flying monkey, becomes the narcissist's tool to infiltrate your life. They might appear under the guise of concern or casual friendliness, but their true purpose is to gather information about you. Their questions might seem innocent: have you heard from so-and-so, or I'm so sorry about what happened between you two, but don't be fooled. Beneath this facade lies the narcissist's relentless pursuit of control and validation. The proxy's sudden appearance in your life may feel unsettling. Perhaps it's a distant family member you've barely spoken to, or a friend who had fallen out of touch. Out of nowhere, they re-emerge, expressing interest in your well-being or seeking to catch up. Their motives may seem genuine on the surface, but a deeper look often reveals an ulterior agenda. They may subtly steer conversations toward the narcissist, probing for details about your emotional state or personal circumstances. It's important to recognize these red flags early on. If you find yourself questioning their sincerity or feeling a sense of unease, trust your instincts. These are telltale signs of a Hoover by proxy. When you engage with the proxy, their lack of genuine interest becomes apparent. They might ask leading questions, attempting to guide the conversation toward topics that benefit the narcissist. Their goal isn't to understand or support you, rather, it's to extract valuable insights that can be reported back. This information serves as ammunition for the narcissist, enabling them to manipulate and maintain control over the narrative. Choosing to disengage from such interactions is both a powerful and strategic move. By refusing to provide the proxy with any information, you send a clear and decisive message to both the intermediary and the narcissist: you are no longer a participant in their toxic dynamic. The proxy, left with nothing to report, will likely inform the narcissist of their failure. They didn't mention you at all. For the narcissist, this outcome can be deeply unsettling. Suddenly, the person they once perceived as a source of validation becomes a symbol of their own irrelevance. This rejection strikes at the core of the narcissist's fragile ego. they may experience a cascade of emotions: panic, regret, and even shame. The realization that their attempts to reconnect, albeit through a third party, have been met with indifference forces them to confront their own vulnerabilities. They may begin to question their decisions, wondering if they've overestimated their control or underestimated your resolve. The proxy's failure to elicit a response not only damages the narcissist's sense of self-worth, but also chips away at the carefully constructed facade of confidence and dominance they strive to maintain. In the aftermath, the narcissist's feelings of shame and insecurity may intensify. Their reliance on a proxy to reach you is, in itself, an admission of weakness. When the proxy fails to fulfill their role, it underscores the narcissist's inability to maintain control without external assistance. For someone who thrives on attention and validation, this realization is particularly devastating. Your refusal to engage becomes a powerful act of self-preservation and autonomy, a reminder to the narcissist that they no longer hold sway over your life. Ultimately, recognizing and responding to hoovering by proxy requires both awareness and resilience. By staying vigilant and setting firm boundaries, you not only protect yourself from further manipulation, but also reclaim your power. In doing so, you dismantle the narcissist's illusion of control and assert your independence, proving that your well-being is no longer tethered to their influence. When a family member or flying monkey informs the narcissist of your refusal to engage, it often triggers a ripple of emotional chaos. The narcissist, facing the sting of rejection, spirals into a state of shame and frustration that inevitably spills over into their relationships, particularly with their new supply. Observing the aftermath, you may notice signs of distress in the new supply, sometimes evident on social media or in public behavior. They might appear increasingly anxious, withdrawn, or even visibly upset. This is a reflection of the narcissist's volatile emotions. The narcissist's shame becomes a burden too heavy for them to bear alone, creating a toxic environment where the new supply suffers the brunt of their emotional outbursts, criticism, and neglect. The realization that their attempts to manipulate you have failed intensifies the narcissist's feelings of humiliation. They become acutely aware of the exposure they face, particularly in front of the messenger they sent to probe into your life. For a narcissist, being perceived as weak or foolish is intolerable, and this can lead to explosive reactions. These reactions are often directed at the new supply, who finds themselves unfairly punished for the narcissist's inability to manage their emotions. The atmosphere in such relationships becomes suffocating, filled with tension and emotional volatility. Given these dynamics, it becomes critical to sever ties with flying monkeys or any intermediaries who serve the narcissist's interests, even if they are family members. Exceptions might be made only in cases involving shared parenting responsibilities. Setting firm boundaries sends an unmistakable message: I will no longer participate in this destructive cycle. This act of boundary setting not only protects your emotional well-being, but also empowers you to reclaim control over your life. It marks a significant step toward breaking free from the narcissist's web of manipulation and chaos. Understanding the mindset behind the narcissist's attempts to hoover can also be illuminating. A hoover is often an indirect or subtle attempt to re-establish contact and regain control. These gestures, which may seem innocent at first glance, are carefully calculated. For instance, a narcissist might return your belongings, send an unexpected gift, or use a significant date, like a birthday, to reach out. While these actions may appear as tokens of reconciliation, they are usually rooted in the narcissist's desire to evoke feelings of nostalgia or obligation, hoping to pull you back into their orbit. It is vital to recognize the desperation that drives a narcissist to initiate such attempts. Before reaching out, they are often in a state of emotional and psychological turmoil, concocting schemes to reignite a connection. In their minds, these actions serve as ammunition, a way to entice you back into their lives and regain the control they believe they've lost. However, understanding these motivations can give you clarity and reinforce your resolve to maintain the boundaries you've established. Ultimately, Navigating life after a relationship with a narcissist requires vigilance, strength, and a commitment to safeguarding your emotional health. By recognizing the manipulative tactics they employ and refusing to engage, you regain power over your narrative, free from the chaos and toxicity they once brought into your life. The planning that goes into a Hoover is not random, it is often premeditated, much like a calculated strategy. The narcissist spends considerable time thinking about how to approach you. They envision the possible outcomes of their actions and how reconnecting with you will benefit them. Typically, they adopt an overly optimistic perspective, believing that their efforts will succeed. However, when their Hoover attempts are ignored, it can lead to a significant mental collapse for them. When you choose to ignore the Hoover, the narcissist experiences a shock that they did not anticipate. They have always believed they know how to manipulate you, thinking they can push the right buttons to get back into your life. This confidence makes their rejection all the more devastating. When you shut the door on them or simply choose not to respond, it can trigger a major emotional breakdown. This breakdown is not trivial, it inflicts severe narcissistic injuries upon them. Such injuries occur because the narcissist's self-image is heavily reliant on the validation and attention they receive from others, especially from you. When you reject their attempts, it deepens their feelings of inadequacy and heightens their desperation. They may have been desperate enough to attempt the Hoover in the first place, but your refusal to engage only exacerbates their emotional turmoil. It is important to note that even if the narcissist has other sources of supply, such as a romantic partner, family member, or friends, these alternatives often do not satisfy their needs in the same way you once did. Their current supply may not provide the validation or emotional connection they crave, which is why they feel compelled to reach out to you despite having other options. In their eyes, you represent a unique source of supply that they are unwilling to lose. By shutting the door on the narcissist, you not only gain a sense of closure for yourself but also contribute to their mental collapse. The narcissist despises feelings of rejection and abandonment, and when you deny them the attention they seek, it reinforces their fears and insecurities. It is important to recognize that narcissists often attempt to initiate Hoovers after a history of unresolved issues. There were likely times in the relationship when you tried to problem solve and communicate effectively. You may remember moments when you felt hopeful, saying things like, "Let's sort this out together, let's talk about what's going on." However, during those crucial moments, the narcissist often refused to listen. They were not interested in addressing the problems or finding solutions. Instead, they were focused on their own needs and desires, showing little regard for your feelings or concerns. We are labeled as the reason for the breakup, and they paint us as toxic individuals. Through their manipulation, they create a narrative that casts us in a negative light, spreading this story to their minions and family members. This smear campaign can be incredibly damaging, as it influences how others perceive us and can even affect our self-esteem. While they publicly criticize us, they may secretly engage in hoovering behind the scenes. This involves them reaching out to us when no one is watching, attempting to reconnect while maintaining their facade of superiority. To face such actions can feel brutal, especially when we are ignored or rejected. The pain of this rejection is profound, but it can also be an empowering experience. Rejecting a Hoover is a powerful act of self-assertion. It signifies that you are taking control of your life and refusing to allow the narcissist to manipulate you any longer. When you successfully reject their attempts to Hoover, you may feel a surge of empowerment. It is a moment where you realize, I have the strength to stand up for myself. This feeling of empowerment is essential for your healing journey. You should take pride in your ability to recognize their tactics and refuse to be drawn back into their web of manipulation. Narcissists are skilled at crafting their Hoovers in a way that lures you in without being overt. They do not simply come at you directly. Instead, they use subtle tactics that can make it difficult to discern their true intentions. For instance, if you share children with a narcissist, they may use the children as a means to reconnect. Let me illustrate this with a scenario involving a friend of mine who had a child with a narcissist. The narcissist, during a time when they were already devaluing him, decided to buy gifts supposedly from their child. However, the child was too young to have purchased these items. It was clear that the gifts were actually from the narcissist, who was trying to create an emotional bridge. At first, my friend accepted these gifts without realizing that this was a classic Hoover attempt. It was only a few months later, after reflecting on the situation, that he pieced together the truth. Oh my God, that was a Hoover. I fell for it. This realization can be a wake-up call, highlighting how easily one can be lured back into the cycle of manipulation. Many people experience similar situations early in their journey of healing after being discarded. It can be challenging to recognize that the narcissist's actions are a desperate attempt to regain control. Often they do not express their desire to reconcile directly. Instead, they may leave us longing for simple words like, "I want you back," or "I'm sorry." This lack of direct communication can leave us feeling broken and confused, as we yearn for acknowledgement of our pain and a desire to work things out. What they did not anticipate was your growth and progress on your healing journey. If you have been strong enough to reject their Hoover attempts, you deserve commendation. Many individuals, especially those who are empathetic or sensitive souls, can find themselves caught off guard by the charm of a narcissist. Some of us may even fall victim to their manipulative tactics, allowing them back into our lives for another chance, despite the pain they have caused. If you have successfully resisted the allure of the Hoover and chosen not to let them back in, you should be proud of yourself. This strength demonstrates significant personal growth and self-awareness, qualities that are vital for healing. Narcissists are adept at using slick and manipulative tactics to re-enter your life. Their Hoovers are not straightforward. They do not simply say, "I want you back" instead. They often employ more subtle methods, crafting messages that may seem harmless on the surface. They might dance around the main issue using vague language or references that make it difficult for you to see their true intentions. This sophisticated approach can make it challenging to identify their attempts for what they are. Each Hoover can escalate in complexity, as the narcissist may go to great lengths to regain your attention. They might pull on your heartstrings or attempt to create a sense of nostalgia, making you question your decision to cut ties. However, when you reject these attempts, it can bring a sense of closure and empowerment. The ability to say no to their advances and maintain your boundaries is a significant step in your healing process. Rejecting their Hoovers has a profound impact on the narcissist. When you shut the door on their attempts to reconnect, you leave a lasting impression. You may not realize it, but your decision to stand firm can mentally scar them. This rejection inflicts what is known as a narcissistic injury, which can be incredibly difficult for them to process. Following such an injury, the narcissist will often need time to recuperate. They may struggle with feelings of shame and inadequacy, particularly if they believe they could easily manipulate you back into their life. After experiencing this setback, they must confront their support system, often made up of flying monkeys, family members, or other enablers. These individuals are part of the narcissist's dynamic family unit, and they often play a role in maintaining the narcissist's inflated self-image. In front of these supporters, the narcissist is forced to put on a brave face, pretending that everything is fine. They are skilled at wearing a mask of confidence and normalcy, even when they are internally struggling. This facade can be quite convincing, but it often hides the turmoil they are experiencing. It is important to remember that in the dynamics of a relationship with a narcissist, we are often portrayed as the problem. Often we find ourselves receiving messages from the narcissist, whether it's them liking our photos on social media or even viewing our profiles on dating apps. I remember one instance where I noticed they had viewed my profile, and it was accompanied by an image of an eye. This behavior felt strange and invasive, as if they were watching me from the shadows. These actions are all classic examples of Hoover. It's crucial to understand that if they are making their interest known, whether through likes, comments, or other forms of interaction, This indicates that they have been thinking about you for a significant amount of time before they decided to reach out. Think about it. If they are now showing signs of wanting to reconnect, how long have they been contemplating this? This is an important point to consider because it reveals the depth of their obsession. They have likely been ruminating on your relationship, analyzing their feelings, and strategizing how to regain your attention. Someone recently posed a profound question: what makes you different from everyone else? The answer lies not in superficial traits, but in the essence of who we are. We are not narcissists, sociopaths, or toxic individuals. Instead, we are empathetic souls, people with an innate capacity to uplift and nurture others. This rare quality sets us apart, forming the cornerstone of our identity. We belong to a chosen tribe, individuals with pure hearts, unshakable moral values, and a deep commitment to truth, love, and kindness. These are not just traits, but the essence of our being, shaping how we navigate a world often shadowed by negativity and manipulation. Your ability to resist the narcissist's attempts to re-enter your life is a testament to this strength. By choosing to shut the door on their manipulative tactics, you are doing more than rejecting them, you are reclaiming your power. This firm rejection sends an unambiguous message: there is no pathway back into your life. For a narcissist who thrives on attention and validation, this act is nothing short of devastating. Denying them the supply they desperately crave inflicts a profound narcissistic injury. It forces them to confront the consequences of their actions, an experience they often try to evade at all costs. As you stand firm, understand that your refusal to engage is not just about self-preservation, it is about healing. Allowing the narcissist to face the fallout of their behavior is a necessary step in their journey, as much as it is in yours. This act of rejection, though challenging, is empowering. It enables you to break free from the toxic cycles that once held you captive. While the narcissist may attempt to seek validation elsewhere, deep down, they know they cannot replace what you offered. Your empathy, kindness, and integrity are unmatched, and the light you bring into the world is irreplaceable. Remember, their inability to find someone who mirrors your qualities is not your burden to bear. As an empath, you possess a unique energy that draws people in, offering hope and positivity. The narcissist's loss is not a reflection of your worth, but a testament to the invaluable impact you had on their life. Their pain, though self-inflicted, highlights the depth of your influence. If you have successfully resisted their manipulative hoovering attempts, know that you have likely caused them a deep emotional collapse. But this collapse is not your responsibility, it is the natural consequence of their own actions and choices. In conclusion, celebrate the strength it takes to stand your ground against manipulation. Your resilience is a powerful indicator of your growth and healing. Thank you for taking the time to reflect with me today. If you found this discussion insightful, I encourage you to like, comment, and share your experiences. Your voice matters, and your journey can inspire others who may be navigating similar paths. Don't forget to subscribe for more content that uplifts, supports, and empowers you on this road to recovery. Together, we'll continue to explore the light that emerges after darkness. Take care, and I'll see you again soon.